coming out on a Sunday evening like this to be a part of this. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So fantastic. So I have Miss Fami John. Your daughter is 12 years old. Fantastic. So yeah. So we have preteens here. That's the age group that just 1 year away from having some access. Hey, Hadassah's mother. Welcome, ma'am. Yeah, your daughter is 11. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, 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 welcome. Auntie Isioma from Abuja. You have a 5-year-old princess. That's exciting. Fantastic. I'm looking down now. Princess, I'm calling parents princess. Yes, you're all princesses as well. Madam Aderonke has a 15 and 13-year-old and she's joining in from Lagos. Oh, this is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. All right. My daughter is 6 years old from Lagos. That's Madam Joy Ola. Hey, Auntie Maureen from Jalingo. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Auntie Adiola, joining in from Edinburgh. Oh, yes, my Auntie Ogo Kende, my personal person joining in from Abuja. Good to see you, ma'am. These are Mrs. Ogo Kende are people that have been with us over the years through different programs, products. Your faith in us is just so encouraging. Thank you. So I have Mr. Emmanuel Nwachiku. When I see dads on the call, this is special. Your daughters are 7 and 9. Fantastic. So if your daughters were in the just concluded boot camp, please indicate with an emoji. I want to know how many parents that their girls were in the boot camp. So Kofo's daughters are 6 and 8, and Millis is joining in from Abuja. Oh, Ghana, Akwaba. So daughters are 6 and 8. So I have one parent whose hands are up. Her daughter was part of the online safety boot camp that happened this week. All right, let me see. Hey, Auntie Stella Okoro is joining in. 2 girls, 11 and 7, Lagos. Binde, 35-year-old. Auntie Ogo, thank you so much. You know, I don't take your love for granted. Auntie Shola's girl is 12. Fantastic, fantastic. Good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, ma'am. Welcome. So thank you so much, parents, for joining. How are you today? I see Port Harcourt, I see Abuja, I see Ghana, I see Lagos. I see all these amazing mamas, so fantastic. So I know that tomorrow is Monday and I want to get into the meat of the gist very quickly. I want to get into the meat of the conversation very, very quickly. All right. Uh-huh. And yep. So let's begin. So I tend to speak very fast. And so I'd like to ask in advance that in the event that I'm speaking too fast, please just leave me a comment and let me know that I'm speaking too fast, okay? Oh, Deborah's mother, Deborah, 12 years old, Abuja. I'm seeing enough Abuja people for us to hang out now before the girls go back to school. What do you guys think? We need to hang out before they go back to school. That's what the girls told me, that we need to hang out. We need to hang out one of these days, all right? Thank you so much. Hey, Auntie Tina joining in from Umuahia. She has a 9 and 7-year-old. Hangout has to be nice. Let's think about a physical hangout. But I want parents to plan it. Plan it. Would you create a WhatsApp group? You plan it and you invite me. Honestly, let's plan it and let's do something. So welcome, parents. I'm so excited to have you here. My name is Irene Banwell, and I'm very passionate about supporting you as you raise phenomenal young women. Now, being a parent is a trust. You're trying to raise a whole human being, because you're shaping their values and you're preparing them for their own life and the decisions that they need to make. So it's always my pleasure to support you. I know that the quality of lives that your daughters live and your sons live is paramount for you, and everything you do every single day. Tomorrow is Monday, you're going to be up and about. You want to truly give them a beautiful life. So the journey to shaping their values and helping them become phenomenal men and women, it's something that only you cannot do. No matter how your best intentions, only you cannot do it. Let me give you a quick example. They're going to go to school in a few weeks. You can't provide them day-to-day education. You can't teach them to read and write. Other people have to do that. Also, as more knowledge comes out in the world, we're beginning to see that There are different things that shape life. For example, being a Christian means that faith values are very strong for us. And so as parents, we are very conscious of our children growing in faith, learning to pray, studying the word, and just growing in their faith. But did you know that over the years, there are things that fight faith? Their knowledge of how to handle their emotions when puberty comes, their ability to manage peer pressure, their ability to look at all that is out there in the world and choose right. All those things start to choke. And then if they don't have character, they're not building the right character. See, mamas, character is so important. Character means that your child shows up somewhere and they're likable, lovable, supportable, and people want to have them around. Now, because your children will not live with only you, you're essentially preparing them to interact with the world. And you want the world to meet your child and feel like, whoa, this was fantastic. Now, when you think about parenting from all these faces, it can be so laborious. It can be scary, it can be overwhelming. But you know, over the years, God has started raising people to support you, different people here and there, in different cities, in different ways. Some of us are supporting them with hygiene, public speaking. We're beginning to talk to them about character, body safety. Is because God truly cares about you. So when I was thinking about the boot camp, we're doing the boot camp every holiday, and this August we did the 10th edition. What kept coming back was online safety. What came in my heart when we finished executing for April, what came to my heart was online safety. Online safety because when I go online, I don't know how many people know about that podcast. There's this disturbing podcast where girls go to talk about that. Oh, I think it's Honey Bunch, yeah? And a girl said if a man pays her 20 million, she's going to do this. I listened to those conversations and I'm afraid because our girls are listening to them. And the way life works, the louder a person is, the more people tend to believe them, the more people ascribe value to them. So you can imagine a young woman went online, talked to nonsense, but there are kids that are going to believe them. First, their kids are going to say, I used to collect only 50,000 though, so that people pay million. Is them I'm looking for. Somebody say, come on, there's a ritualist that can help you so that you attract the ones that can pay you more. Can you see that downward spiral? But there's a big mistake we always make, parents. We talk once and we go. We say, don't try that. You know whose name you are. Hold on to God. Hold on to God. God will help you. And we go. Another day, another topic comes to talk. So we don't have a systemic way we are building the girls. Some of the things we do are random. That's because only you is not supposed to do it. And so this holiday, we brought them together for 3 days. Started talking to them about different scenarios. To be honest with you, a 1-hour class cannot digest that talk very well. But we at least wanted to bring them a consciousness. So tonight, I want to tell you the consciousness we try to give your girls and how we want you to ride on it. This meeting is to show you how to ride on what we have done, right? When parenting seems overwhelming, you're not doing it with the support that you need. When parenting seems overwhelming, you're not doing it with the support that you need. For the girls that were 0 to 8, the biggest thing we taught them was the statement, talk to a trusted adult. I'd like to see people type that in the comment section, please. Talk to a trusted adult. So today, that's why I want to start with you. If I'm telling your child to talk to a trusted adult, who is the trusted adult they should talk to? And what should that adult say to them? All right, talk to a trusted adult. That's the recurring message for our children. Talk to a trusted adult. Oh, I was playing a game on my mommy's phone. Something popped up. Talk to a trusted adult. I'll tell you some personal stories that have happened with my children that makes me know that on top of everything we do, we have to be trusted adults that our children can bring reports to us. We have to be trusted adults that our children can bring reports to us. Many years ago, maybe 5, 6 years, and when I say 5, 6 years, it means my oldest child was 8 and my youngest was 6. One day, my kids were playing, if there was a particular phone in the house, you know those old smartphones that once in a while you have internet? One of my daughters was playing a game, and the game was about naming body parts. And then all of a sudden, the image started telling her to name breast and private parts. She moved out of the room, walked up to me and said, Mommy, see, this thing is asking me to do. Okay, it was like when you touch a part, it will name it. It will point where you should touch on the body of the whatever being was on the screen. But she said the thing started asking her to touch the breast, and she said something was wrong with that. So she just took to my room and said, Mommy, look at this. It's asking me to touch a private body area. I think this game is inappropriate. On Play Store, that game is rated 3, age 3. So what it means is that the foundational online safety principle in everyone is that you're alert and ready to be spoken to. When they bring the device, if something pops up, they come to you, dismiss it. Now, for many of us as parents, we're already doing these things, and I commend us. When they point that thing, you pick the phone, you close it, and you let it, you work on it fine. But some of us are not very responsive. Some of us are so busy. We say, take it to your brother, take it to this auntie, take it to this person. It's better to collect the phone and keep it till you're ready to look at it. It's better to collect the device and keep it till you're ready to look at it. Because when you look at it, you know what to do. It's not just closing window. You know whether, is there something we recently installed that is leading to this that we need to uninstall? You will be able to look at it and know, did my child search for something and it led there? But most importantly, it opens up opportunity for you to talk. It opens up opportunity for you to talk with them and discuss with them. And let me tell you people something. This boot camp was I'm not trying to hype the program. You can judge the program whether your daughter learned something or not. But it was my litmus test as a parent. I had 2 of my children teach in those classes. My first daughter taught the 12 to 14 class, and my second taught the 9 to 11 class. And what happened is when we're preparing for the sessions, I've written an online safety book for girls. So I picked out some chapters of the book and asked them, this is the topic you're going to be working on. And it was beautiful to listen to the explanations they had. And those explanations came from conversations. Parents, please type conversations. Conversations, not instructions, conversations. When my first daughter said, when I get online and I want to work with a handle and I start to like someone, like I like somebody's content on social media, I'm going to ask myself if their values align with mine. When she made that statement, my head exploded because you know how I woke up and realized that the conversations are working. I want you to know something. Whatever Satan takes from you, don't let them take conversation time. Your drive to work, in the market, while you're cooking. I used to have this problem when I want to cook because I used to work a lot. I'm really using used to because I'm reorganizing my entire life this season. But like when I want to cook sometimes, I'll ask everybody to leave the kitchen. I want to be alone. And in working, I'm thinking, I'm navigating. But you know what? I found that was a powerful moment to bond and talk and have conversations. Oh, mom, she opened TikTok. She's wearing crop top and she's twerking. Why do you think she does that? Her parents are aware. Is it possible she doesn't have self-esteem? Is it possible she's looking for other people to validate her? Oh, that's sad. That's sad. Compared to, how did you know? You're now on TikTok. Don't be like her. Don't bring me shame. No. Conversation says, what happened there? Because your child is going to transfer what you're saying about that other child to their own life. Say, oh, when people have low self-esteem, it makes them do crazy stuff. It's not because they're cool. It's not because they are confident. It's not because they are courageous, but there's a problem. No matter what anybody tells you in the world, your conversations with your kids matter. And that's why I want to go to. But I know parents saying, Irene, let me tell you, online safety, I don't know jack. I'm not techie. How can I support my child if I'm not techie? So today I want to teach you about the conversations to have that will make it, whether you're non-techie or not, you can support your child with online safety. Let me explain something to you. I have parental control on all my children's devices. I am very techy. I love tech. I use tech to do my work. I breathe tech. I can figure out most things. Because sometimes when my daughters are trying to do something and they say something was hard, I'll tell them what to do. And they'll be like, now what? But here's the thing. It doesn't matter all the machineries and systems and blah, blah, blah I put in my daughter's phone. If I don't talk to her heart, she's waiting to leave my home. And when she's 18, she can do whatever she wants. But you see, when she's 18, she's still my child. And the choices she makes will still hurt me. So I can police them all I want. Like two of them, when they came to talk about their device stories, my first daughter got a tablet this month. And I didn't buy it for her. Someone in church gave her as a gift. The second one is the one that I carried a tablet, a new tablet we've kept in house for a long time. I gave it to her because her sister had it. But I'm techy, so I've installed all the installables. But here's the thing. I started with their heart first. And when they want to navigate social media, I tell them, come, let's look at, sometimes I find a handle that is great. I call them and say, let's look at it. And sometimes when I see something that is questionable, I say, come, let's look at it. What do you think about this? Please, is my video freezing? Is my video freezing? Please help me check. Okay. So Auntie Joy, it might be your network. Sorry about that. So I didn't bring you here to say, go to settings, check this, check that. I came to tell you the one that we can all do, which is talk to their heart, shape their values. Then the tech part will take care of itself. Some of them, your conversations will mature them and take out their interest in frivolities. You get the idea? So today is heart to heart, and I want you to ask me as many questions as you can, because no matter how I support you, you're with them every day, and that every day matters. Hey, the everyday conversations matter. So for your 0 to 6, your 0 to 8-year-olds, the underlying principle for them was talk to a trusted adult. But for your 9 to 11-year-olds, their own was they need to have self-esteem before coming online. No. 9 to 11-year-old is there's time for everything. Yeah, that was the underlying theme for them. There is time for everything. I'd like you to type that. For 9 to 11-year-olds, there is time for everything. Dear parents, there is no social media that is for that age. Some of you don't know. Some of you don't know that there's no social media that permits children age 9 to 11. Not TikTok, not Facebook. So 9 to 11-year-olds, their message is, so in addition to talk to a trusted adult, they have, in addition, there's time for everything. And here's the problem. Some of us parents are creating problems for other parents. If your child is not yet up to the age of being on TikTok, why did you allow them create an account? Now they're in class talking about who they're following, this, that, creating pressure for other children of that age. Why is it so? So today I wanted to explain to some of the parents. I'm going to talk about low self-esteem. Okay, I've started getting questions. All right. How to deal with self-esteem for a 10-year-old. I'm going to answer that. All right. So why are you allowing them to get on social media? So I wanted to really help you. I wanted to really help you. So sir, I have evidence of this. There's how you have conversations with your children, what their mates are feeling excited about. They're like, it's not a big deal, because they've had all the conversations. They have the logic to respond to the excitement. So where was I? I was talking about 9 to 11-year-olds. They are not supposed to be on social media. But here's what I know. I have the approach that even if somebody's child went on social media and then came to class, and my child wants to, I'm willing to sit down and tell them that it's not yet time. There's a reason that age restrictions. I want to share one reason. One reason is that all social media platforms expose children to opinions, all of them. Exposing them to opinions or people's strange opinions. Opinions about sex, opinions about purity, opinion about honoring parents, opinion about God. So all social media platforms expose children to that. The older they are, the higher their chances to take the opinions they see and weigh it against the values their parents are teaching them. When they are 9 to 11, lie, excitement does not let them process it. Somebody wakes up and say, parents are so lame. The next thing, your child is looking at you as if you're a buffoon in the house. Because at 9 to 11, they can't sift through what they are hearing. So when you as a parent feel comfortable enough for your 9-year-old to be on TikTok or your 10-year-old to be on TikTok, what you're telling the rest of us is that you don't care about your child's inability to process what is out there. How do we have some of these conversations, formally or no, informally? Informally is like gist. Informally is like we're just gisting. Informally, these conversations are informal. All right, so informal. At 9 to 11, your child cannot differentiate between logic. All right, what do you do when you find a child is suddenly watching pornography? We're going to talk about it, all right? So one after the other. I'm pacing all the questions and I'll come to them. So for your 12 to 14, their own theme, in addition to talk to trusted adults, was nobody is better than you. Nobody. You see 12 to 14 and 15 to 17, when they come on social media, they come face to face with other people's curated reality. They compare other people's best picture with their everyday. They start to compare the houses they live, the cars they drive, the clothes they wear, the shoes they have. All of a sudden, you have a child talking about Jordans because an Instagram influencer is talking about how this and that. They're now talking about phones. So it's super important for girls 12 to 14 to learn that actually there's nobody that is superior to you online. Nobody. Let me tell you, you're on this call today because Irene has specialty with girls. But I assure you, Madam Tony Oyeyemi, there is something that I want that only you can teach me. Do you understand? There's something that I want from Madam Amaka Ochi. When that day comes, I will defer to her. You're not here because I necessarily am more intelligent than you. You're here because out of the magnanimity of God, He has engraced me with insight on this one subject matter. That some of you that are your finance gurus, your faith giants. So what it means is that social media is where you share and where you get. Nobody is superior to you. Nobody. Nobody is superior to you. There are things that you will pay me to do for you, and there are things I'll pay you to do for me. So it's value exchange. But your 12 to 14-year-old doesn't know that. She thinks that everything is, whoa. Your 15 to 17-year-old, their own principle, they think they can handle it. We convince them that they can't handle it. That's their principle. You can't handle it alone. Parents are a part of your navigation because they're at a transiting point. They have a heightened need to be independent. So it is our responsibility to tell them that, no, bouncing off thought of me doesn't make you independent. You're preparing to be on your way. So you're learning how these decision things are being made. You get the idea. So now that I've worked out that framework, let me tell you the 4 conversations you need to start talking with your kids about. So if you're ready to hear 4 of them, let me know. I always tell my 9-year-old that because they're allowed to eat in their home, does not mean it is right. And that is risky for those being exposed early. I hope she understands. Well, we talked about it in the camp. In fact, the first day of the camp, we told them that if your parents don't have regulations for you, that is dangerous. So if you're ready for us to enter the 4 core conversations you need to have, let's go. The conversations I'm about to have with you are certified by the International Telecommunications Union. They are conversations that are getting government to work with parents to know that since the online space is now allowable for children and this is online safeguarding that I want to talk to you about, all right? So number 1, your child is not aware that there are risks online. Because of the idea that they don't hold the people, they can't touch the people, they think that there's no risk. But there are lots of risk. So your first responsibility is to tell kids that there is risk. Somebody can still lose something in this thing. All right? So let me give you a typical scenario. Yes, so number 1, your child is not aware that there are risks online. Risk is not apparent to them. In fact, that's how ITU puts it, that risk is not apparent to them. So my first responsibility as a parent is to let them know there is risk. And it starts from when they're age 0. I'll talk about the risk. From when they're small and they're playing tablets, you can start teaching them not too much because it's bad for your health. Their risk. So is those risks that is the 4 pillars, 4 conversation I want to talk. The very first risk you want to talk to your child is called content risk. Content risk. This risk is the belief that, it's not the belief, it's the knowing that people will put false information, inaccurate information, misleading information, false, inaccurate, misleading, and inappropriate. False, inaccurate, inappropriate, and misleading. I had a very interesting conversation with 15 to 17-year-olds, and I taught them about when you see one information, when you get information about something, go and confirm from other sources. Don't take anything you hear on social media and start running with it. Google it, use Gestor, look for reputable platforms and databases to confirm that the information you're about to make a decision on is correct. So the first conversation you need to have is that, baby girl, everything you see online is not true. Some are outrightly misleading and deliberately designed to be misleading. Deliberately designed to be misleading. Deliberately designed to be misleading. Some of the benefit, we don't know what it is for the people posting them, but they're designed to be misleading. Some are inappropriate, and inappropriate means 2 things. It means it's not supposed to be consumed by a child of that age because of the damage that it can do. It's inappropriate. 100%, it's inappropriate. So for some people, some people are getting worked up that when I say that, when you have a large following, it's responsibility. You can't choose the age groups that follow you. So there's this handle that I had to stop following at some point. I can't even call their name here because some of you will tear me apart because you love that handle. Anyway, to give you a hint, they do a lot about women's skincare. So normally that place is really supposed to be an 18+ handle. One time, they put up a post about, and my kids here know, they put up a post about how women were putting their hand in their vagina and taking the moisture in it and putting behind as perfume, and that it attracts men. I don't know the hell where these demonic ideas come from, but there are minors following that handle. There are 14-year-olds. The 14-year-olds on Instagram. Do you know the junk that they had? So you have to be available to always say princess. Inappropriate, misleading. So one angle of inappropriate, that it's not supposed to be heard by that age. It's not supposed to be heard by that age. Then the second part of inappropriate is that somebody needs you to hear it to alter your life. Somebody needs your minor to hear things that will alter their life. Let me give you an example. Porn platforms need to trigger children over and over again so that they can become porn addicts. It's capitalism, and they can pay for porn. They have to create scenarios and situations that ignite an appetite in your child that is fulfilled by paying for their own product. Don't play with online safety. It's not a joke. I didn't call you here to scare you. I called you here to tell you the kind of conversations you need to have. You need to let people know, your girls know, that the information they put is very inaccurate. Some people present their opinion as law. So somebody's opinion can make a lot of sense and you listen to it, but still give it some thought. Teach your kids to give it some thought. And tell them, I'm always here to sound this, for us to be your sounding board. When you're not quite sure of what it is you're hearing, let's talk about it, all right? So the first risk is that what they will come across can be false, inaccurate, inappropriate, and misleading. Very misleading. Oh, thank you, Madam Uzo. Thank you so much, honestly. Very misleading. The second one I want to talk about, thank you so much for this. I think that this education is not just for our children, but for us also adults. These internet sites and social media platforms are very addictive. Now, Madam Kichi has introduced a perspective. We need to model this thing. I had to teach my daughters that I use social media for work. But even at that, I'm at a place where I need to model regulation. Because the truth of the matter is that when you consume it too much, you consume a mix of everything. The Holy Spirit started teaching me about how to watch out for subtle vulgarities in content. Subtle vulgarities. So you will see a decent, what could have been a decent conversation. And the next thing, somewhere in between the line, somebody uses the F word to express that they're exhilarated. And the Holy Spirit told me that it's subtle. That for people that are that the devil wants to make them more immoral, they reimagine that article over and over and over and over again. So the Holy Spirit started telling me about being sensitive. Now your kids are consuming that. They're not yet at the age where we can talk about things like this. All right? But they're not yet at the age where we can hit it like this. But if your daughter is at 15, you can hit it like this. And say, baby, there's somebody that needs to mess up your mind. There's somebody that needs to mess up your mind to the point that you will do, you know they are wrong, but you can't help yourself. And they will seep into your conscience. They will enter like this. And before you know it, you hear somebody saying, is it really that bad? Well, the effort doesn't have an impact on me. I saw somebody that I love so much. I love her faith value. And she talked about, so in 2021, let me give you this, this is what happened to me. In 2021, Christmas, it's 2021, 2021 Christmas, my family went to Lagos, we went to Jos for Christmas. So Jos is like a second home for us. And Netflix released a series called Bridgerton. It pulled people in. I watched Bridgerton. When I was done with Bridgerton, the Holy Spirit told me, you've consumed enough poison to last you a season. Do you know how you can watch something and as a married person, you have intercourse with your spouse and you feel like you people are missing something? How did you know you were missing something? You were content before. So this is the strategy. A love story that excites you to know the end with very many irrelevant, high-octane sexual scenarios. You watch to the point that you start to look forward to it. I had to bring that illustration in to hit home the next point. Some of your kids are consuming things that are like that and doing that to their mind. So you have to talk about inappropriate. Is going to do something to you. There's a series that came out many years ago. It was called Empire. I watched Empire, maybe 2 episodes, and then the Holy Spirit just told me, tell me what the theme of this thing is. He said, beyond the entertainment. The Holy Spirit started teaching me. So with Bridgerton, he told me, beyond the entertainment, what else is happening here? And I said, exciting a wild appetite for another kind of intercourse. That's what I heard. So every time I see entertainment now, the Holy Spirit said, tell me something else happening here. And so when it came to Empire, Empire was introducing to us that gay characters can be talented and that people could be wild, people could go with their pleasure. Taraji gives you solid theater. And before you know it, you weaken your defenses. Go and teach your children that there's a strategy in media, there's an agenda in media, that there's another message beyond the entertainment. Your girls need to know that. Your girls need to know that even ordinary people on social media can work out demonically designed content and not even know that they are part of it. As I'm talking to you, Your children need to know that. Say, Princess, I'm not trying to set rules. Oh, someone is trying to get into your mind. Someone is trying to program you. Someone is trying to turn you into a wild beast. After I watched Bridgerton, I went to God one day and I said, Holy Spirit, you're the one that holds us in, because man in itself is wild. He's like the madman in Decapolis. From one appetite to the other, you're the one that reins us in. So here's a world that we are in, and somebody is ensuring that your kids have access to all kinds of content, because the idea is that by the time they leave your home at 18, they've already programmed their values for you. What hurts me the most is that the world, for example, knows that the future is kids. The porn industry knows that the future is kids. LGBTQ knows that the future is kids, but the future is kids. The least investment in the body of Christ is going to children's church and teens church. We are not building platforms. We are not investing in platforms that build them. Even as parents, we are not prioritizing building them the way we are prioritizing them going to school. Going to school is great, but it is the quality of human you build that harnesses education. So content, I'm done with content. Now you know what to talk about. Let's talk about contact risk. You know, contact risk is where it gets really interesting, because our kids feel that we are online now. Somebody cannot reach me. So I'll share a story with you. This story, so we have content. The first is content risk, and now I want to talk about contact risk. So, Holy Spirit, help me. Do you know that some of our daughters take pictures of themselves naked and send it to people and feel that because they didn't meet physically, there's no risk? Do you know that? But eventually, those people turn it around. Those people take those contents that they share, turn it around, and do all kinds of things. So the question as parents we should be asking is, why the heck will my daughter take a naked picture of herself? Please help me. So I'm going to give you 3 reasons, and I need you to pay attention because they are talking points for you. The number 1 reason is that when they start going through the pressure to send, they think they can handle it. They think they can handle the pressure. I have met girls that when they open their mouth and speak, they sound so intelligent that you think that she should know what to do now. For where she didn't know what to do, because she bought the illusion that she could handle it. Most times the pressure to share their nudes comes from when they're around 13, 14, but mostly the 15 to 17-year-olds, their own is hyper. That's why I tell them you cannot handle it. And it's not because you're weak. It's because you're facing a war. And if you're facing a war, you can't fight alone if God put parents in your life. But some of your girls say they can't talk to you because you're what style? So you're angry with them that they didn't clean your room or they didn't clean their room well. And now you've ruined the relationship that would have led to the conversations that would you need to pick your war or you pick your battles. If they're not cleaning their room well, have conversations. Ask them, like I would ask my daughters, what do you need me to help you with? Remind you, all right, this weekend we're doing a home for everything. My daughters say that I can talk about the most difficult things with them. We can talk about the most difficult things with them without us being in a war. And I always ask my kids this every time I correct them and tell them something they need to do better. I always pause and ask them, is mommy angry with you? I started teaching them that when mommy corrects you, I'm not angry with you. I'm not saying that you're inept. I'm saying you need to work on this. All right? Can you hear me? Please, can everyone hear me? I'm saying break in transmission. All right? Can you hear me, please? If you can hear me, let me know. Let me know if my network is breaking and all of that. Okay, you can hear me. All right? I always go back. Is mommy angry with you? Is mommy upset with you? You know why? I want to pick my battles. My biggest battle is I need my daughters to see me as an ally as they start to take on life. I need them to see me as an ally as they start to take on life, so that they know that, mommy, I like him. Why is he telling me to send him my needs to him? Why did he send me a naked picture of himself? So the second one is that contact risk. That one of the risks is that they will put their whole lives at risk for that. So the one reason is because they think they can handle it. The second reason they think they send their needs is because they feel pressured that if they don't give it, the guy may pick another girl. There's a scarcity mentality. Am I going to see someone who is going to like me? So one of the things we need to do is to start telling our girls that anybody that is trying to get you to violate your values does not really love you, and they're not worthy of you. And that life works when we are patient till we find people that value us. Until you find someone that values you, I'm here for you. I don't want to see you with anybody. If I see you, I kill you. Story. You're losing the war. You may win the battle, but you're losing the war. Because the real war is happening in between her ears. Should I? Should I not? Should I? Should I not? So you want her to be able to sit down with you and put the options in front of you. The third reason they share their news is they tell you that they trust the boy. Before I used to tell them, how do you know? It's not by the way they've been behaving before. I've never been able to convince them on that. So I started asking them, so what if they steal their phone? What if somebody else steals their phone? When the information gets into the wrong hands? But something else I also tell my girls is, when you feel pressure to take risk, you're not honoring. When you feel pressure to take risk, you're not honoring yourself. When you feel pressure to take risk, you're not honoring yourself. When you feel tempted that let me do it, when you put yourself last, that's a sign that you're in a low self-esteem mode. I notice that when you tell them about low self-esteem, it wakes them up. They want to work on it. So now you're on the team. The second kind of contact risk is that your girls can attempt to meet with people physically. They can give your address, where they go to school. They can say, well, my driver picks me up a little after 4. So if you come out, you can meet me here. Or my parents have traveled, because they meet people online, they chat with them, and they have an illusion about who they are. You know, I keep telling the kids from content risk that somebody can set up a fake profile now. It's not hard. I can even sit down with you. Let's do it. I came across this social experiment last year where somebody said they wanted to see how easy it is for predators to pick on a minor. They opened an account, took one of their journalists and dressed her up like a teenager, made her up, took the pictures, all those kind of pictures, and they put it up. And I don't remember the number, but they say within the first 24 hours, they got 51 friend requests, and they were all from grown men. And they had listed her as 15. And so they were so upset that, is it because 15 is close to 16? In many countries, 16 is the age of consent or at some level of adulthood. Yes, it's still streaming on YouTube. It's still streaming on YouTube. They thought that was the thing. So they created another account, and this time I think they used 13. It was the same thing. There are predators waiting to feed off children online, and they disguise like their age mates. They disguise like their age mates. I say they are this, they say they are that, they say they love the person, they say all kinds of things. So when your kids are having misunderstanding with you, they'll go and be talking to those people. That's why you need to stop this quarrel you're quarreling with your kids. So you need to come to a place where you can resolve issues. You can look at their face and say, something I said worked you up. Let's talk about it. This is the point I was making. So what's in your head? How is it coming across to you? And then they say it, and it's okay. Let's explain it. Let's resolve issues at home, because your kids will chat with strangers. Open up to strangers about your misunderstandings. And there are different kinds of strangers. There are predators who want to molest them in the name of love. There are also predators who are feeding off children for human trafficking, for prostitution. They chat them and say, all right, come over. In fact, when I was doing the research for my book, How to Talk with Your Girls About Sex, I came across a research that said that for a particular gang, when they needed to recruit new girls into their prostitution rings, they'll move into neighborhoods. And they started looking for families where the girls were isolated. The girls were alone. One, two, if the girls were having misunderstandings with their parents, that was an opportunity. If the girls had daddy issues, they were the perfect candidate. And so they will start talking to the girls that the guy will show up in the neighborhood and he'll be the freshest thing in the area, has the coolest phone, no relatives, no strings and anything. No relatives, no, they're just on their own, right? And before you know it, they'll start dating the girl. Mama, good night, ma. Sorry, I had a visitor. All right, mom, have a beautiful evening. Hi, Rejoice, welcome. So you get the idea, and they'll isolate the girl, and then before you know it, the girl will start talking about family issues. It's you that I connect with the most, it's you that gets me, it's you that understands me. Bam. And they will talk about eloping, and the girl will think it's love. In fact, the report I heard said that when they elope, the guy will be so broke and he will look as if they're having an adversity for love and everything. And the guy will say, do you want to sleep with someone so that we can get money at least to eat? And the girl will think that she's doing it for love, and that's the beginning of prostitution. Some girls are opening up on key issues online to people they don't know about. So one of the things you need to tell them is no matter what happens, love lives here. No matter what happens, I am present. I am here for you. The moment your child can't talk to you, we have a problem in our hands. So this online, that is, my daughter can handle herself. Can she? Are you having the right conversations? I'm not talking about locking up and buckling. I'm talking about conversations that hit the heart. So let me go to conduct risk. I've already started talking about conduct risk. Being online for a long time leads to mental health problems. Ms. Olanka said parenting is on another level. Yes. That's why I also started by saying you're not supposed to do this alone. That's why they came to boot camp. God didn't design it for all of us to do this alone. God designed. So for instance, I feel like parenting is harder today than it was when we were younger. And our world has changed so significantly that the influences on our parenting are too many. That is why God is raising coaches everywhere. We are not jobless people. We are not without. Some of us can't help ourselves. Some of us cannot help ourselves. It's like the thing is sucking you in. The thing is sucking you in. So for many of us coaches, we can't shake it off. And so we know this is a call for such a time as this. And so I want you to know that God knew that right now is a wild time to raise a child. Any voices. Before, when your mother talks to you, before you hear somebody that counters it, 8 years has passed. So what she told you has entered, is now entrenched. Now, as you said it that day, your child will see an opposing view online that day. Your child will go to school and another child will throw a flimsy thing that rips apart what you thought. So here's the thing, you're talking, your child should be hearing someone else echoing you. You're saying the right thing, but there's a mentor in their life saying the same thing, explaining it in a different way. So even if there was at home, your daughter doesn't want to hear you, when they come to the mentor is saying it in a different way. He's explaining it more. He's explaining it better. Guess what? Do you understand? So what's the first conduct risk I want you to know? Your children shouldn't be online for a long time because it causes mental health. The radiation from phones does something to the mind. I learned it with my own body. Many years ago, I used to notice that I'll be sitting down and my mood would change. My mood would change and I'll be saying, waiting be this. What happened? What did I get sad? One day the Holy Spirit told me, go back to the feed you just read and see what has happened. And I'll go back, I'll scroll. I'll now see you saw something that made you angry, excite you, get you anxious. You saw bad news, good news, mixed news, scary news, everything. You read it and then you were just going. And before you know it, it messed up it's like your body is, you're eating akpu, jollof rice, spaghetti, this all at the same time. Sometimes it makes me nauseous physically. Your girls need to know that too much online time is a problem. Whether they're gaming, whether that this is too much of a problem. In fact, one of the things we taught the 15 to 17-year-olds was how to use the time. Oh, I met this girl. There's this child that came to 15 to 17-year-old class who says she's part of a crocheting community on YouTube where they are watching and learning how to knit. That's productive use of online time because they're not throwing opinions around. They're doing something with their hands. They're doing something with their hands. So that's the first conduct risk. The second conduct risk is that you are not Your child can start to have a low self-esteem as a result of coming there. Your child can pick up a habit to bet. Your child can pick up a habit to do porn. So the conversations need to be that, baby, online shapes your behavior. Online shapes your behavior. Some of us stayed one day at home and our daughter started changing the way they talk, whether it was accent or posture or terminologies, and they started thinking a certain reality was cooler than the other. You need to talk about it. When you start noticing behavior, posture, personality changes, call your babies and say, Kilote. That's me for my girls, with my girls. I'm like, what's up now? Where is this coming from? We're not fighting about it. Who is somebody you like that says that? So where did you hear that from? You know that we are supposed to get the original you. I don't want you to edit yourself to become somebody else. You see me, your mama now. I'm me. Irene Banwell is Irene Banwell. You can't change me as I did here like this. I have several friends say, Irene, go and grow your hair. I say, no. Why are your children not cutting their hair? I say, no, we're different people. I want my kids to always know that there's a version of you the world needs to see. And no matter who you're looking at, you must not become another person, not in your choice of words. There are positive things to take from people, but don't alter your personality. You wake up, all of a sudden, your child won't say anything without saying, duh. Don't edit who you are. Don't alter your being for anything trending. Look at it. You can smile, but you can walk away. So Condor Reese says, how is online shaping my physical being, shaping my mind, how I perceive my life, how I perceive my parents? How is online doing that? My husband is standing behind me and eating my fruit salad and he's finishing it. And I have a problem with that. Man of God, I will eventually eat it, please. So ask them to make it so that when I finish my session, I can have it, please, sir. No, I want my full bowl back. Don't stop, I want my full bowl back. So we are back to the conversation. How is online affecting who I am? Why did your fashion sense change? Yeah, we can see something that looks really cool and we make adjustments. But when it's happening to your minor, you want to teach them the one we copy and the one we don't copy. You get the idea? The one we don't alter. There are things we don't alter. You get the idea? We want to teach them how to do that. We pick values. But before we even pick the values, we meditate on it. One day I saw somebody's post online. I'll never forget that day. And it said that if you had a help at home and they cannot tell you on a day they were to wash plates and they were tired, they can't tell you they are tired, that it doesn't matter what you say, your home is not home for them. When I read that post, it hit me. The person didn't say the way I said it, but it was just insinuated that if you say the kids in your home who are not your biological kids are your kids, think about the things your children get away with. You should allow them get away with it. So at that time, I have that's like the 5th child I'm fostering in my house. She's now 18. So as at 2 years ago, I walked into the room one day, looked at her, and said, any day that you feel too tired to wash plates, especially if you've had a prolonged day, I want you to be able to ask me that, can I leave it till tomorrow? I learned that online, but I have to teach my kids how to know what they're picking. So, and one way is take what you heard, go and discuss it with your parents. Let them tell you what they think. That's why our relationship with our kids are critical. So my daughter will say, Mom, is it really true that? Is it really true that? Is it really true that? And we'll talk about it. And sometimes I'll say, I don't think it's true for these reasons. And my daughter will say, but what about this reason? And what about that reason? In the process, we're teaching them how to take what they're saying, mix it with logic and thinking. Ask themselves, does the Bible have a position on this? What is the Bible position on this before we move forward? So that we don't copy and paste. We copy, we think about it, we meditate on it, and we decide what we are pitching on. Because there are positive values online. I mean, you met me online and they're positive values, but you want to take it, chew on it. What is the risk of following this idea? What are the opportunities of this? Does this go against my family values? Is there something this person is not saying? Has this opinion been discussed? So because they are kids, I tell them, look for the adults, look for the trusted adult in your space and talk about it. We need to repair our relationships. So Condor says something you see online can alter your behavior, how you relate with your sibling. You watched a video and suddenly you feel like your younger one is not respecting you. You watch a video, somebody was rude, somebody was this, or I mean, it could be anything. But teach your kids to say, how did something I watched alter my life? And so let me come to the last, but this one is a funny one, but it's hard. Yes, we're already streaming on YouTube. It's streaming on YouTube. Streaming on YouTube. So we move very quickly to the other one, which is commercialization. This one will pain you because you're the one that pays for it. Commercialization risk says that your child will buy something with your credit card. Something annoying, something that will hurt you. One time, a woman cried on social media, on Facebook, that her son was paying for games, bought something for games, worth 200K one Saturday morning. I don't know if she's on this call. I don't know her in person, but the news trended. What happened to that? So you know when you open a Google account, I don't know, not for many people, but for some people, you open a Google account. So I run a big Google account, so I pay for monthly subscription for Google. So in order for me to pay for my monthly subscription, my ATM card is loaded on Google. So every time my child, I'm going to talk about, someone should remind me to talk about sharing devices with your children and the risk with it. So it means that if my child uses my device and logs into an online platform and sees a product, they'll buy it with my ATM card because my ATM card is already on the platform. One day, a man woke up and was going out of his house in the US. That was last year during one of our online safety trainings. He said that he came out of his car and saw tons of pizza delivery bikes outside, a number of them. Where are these people going to? It was his son. He had ordered $1,600 worth of pizza. You know what? He was trying to order it. Network was not going. Network was not going. He kept trying. So network wasn't going on his end, but it was going on the other end. So they had tons of pizza in their house that day. Ridiculous, but see money you worked hard for. You worked hard to get it, and your child just blew it. You worked hard to get it, but the child blew it. Some of your kids may see somebody is marketing something. They do fear of missing out a lot. I'm telling you, man. Say, if you don't buy it now, the thing will not go. The thing will not go. That your daughter that you've given your ATM card, she knows your PIN, she knows your this. She will carry it, she will load it, she will buy it, and they'll deliver it to the house. So we need to talk about how we buy online. If you see it, you like it, you talk to me, and we decide whether we're getting it or not. Don't click and buy. Not even in your game. Some of them get a game, and the game, to get to the next level, you need coins. You need certain token. Your kids think that what they are buying is that coin. They think it's a joke. They don't know that money is leaving your account to fund it. That's why, as a rule, I teach my girls that when you open Google Play Store to download any app, of course, you have to take permission. Once you see in-app purchases, we're not downloading the app. Now my money won't go so. So you teach your kids, once you see in-app purchases, don't download it. Once you see contains ads means, one of my daughters, the one that taught 12 to 14, my first, she actually was upset with me the day we handed her Kindle to her that it still had a lot of regulations. And I told her it wasn't about trust though. Is that God holds me responsibility for your mind right now. What she didn't know was that on the email app on Kindle, a Bet Niger ad was on it. Oh. Do you understand? Are you seeing the comment section? A Bet Niger app was on it. Ad was on it. You know what it does? One day the child will click it. So any app that contains ads, one day the thing will click it. So, but you know, for Google, once your child is 14, you can't regulate their devices anymore like that. Google says that your 14-year-old is old enough to handle themselves online. So my baby is 13. In a few months, I will not be able to regulate her account anymore. So what will I have? I will have only relationship and conversations. It will only notify me that she has entered this app. It won't stop her from going. Like she was telling them, her device camera cannot work. So if you're one of those parents that set up Family Link, that's the app that is used to regulate on Google. Google Family Link when your daughter was 10. And all of a sudden, you no longer get notifications and you think your child changed his setting. Your child did not change his setting. Once they turn 14, Google says they can handle themselves. So what do you have? That you have conversations. Commercialization risk also comes from one of your daughters has pimple, small pimple on her face. Well, you know, when we are young, we make a big deal of it. So somebody told her that there's this skincare routine costing 70,000 naira. So it will help her. No NAFDAC number, no evidence, no nothing. She didn't discuss it with you. Say, Mommy, what do you think about this? Because she wants to look good, she did it. Because she wants to look good, she went online and she did it. She paid with your card. I watched a particular story on one series, whether it was Greenleaf or something. I've never watched the series. I went to visit my friend, and that episode was playing. And in that episode, I think the Holy Spirit wanted it to be like that. As that episode was playing, a little girl in that place said, "It is easier to apologize than to take permission." I'm going to say it again, and if you hear me, please type it in the comments. It is easier to apologize than to take permission. Some of your daughters have that mindset. The mindset says, do it, apologize later. Do it, apologize later. You need to pay attention to the entertainment industry. The entertainment industry is crazy. They are curating, shaping mindset while you're quarreling about wash dishes. While you're saying you can't do certain things. While you're saying, allow these coaches, let us breathe. When coaches say, don't hit, don't hit, don't hit, don't hit, you're insisting that that's how it's going to be. I understand the sentiment. In my home, my husband believes that children should be spanked, that the Bible says children should be spanked. And when my kids were younger, I used to spank them. But one day the Holy Spirit asked me a question and it changed everything. He asked me, when they misbehave, do you want them to run away from you or to run towards you? I said, what do you mean? He said, let's talk about righteousness. Let's talk about our walk with God. When you sin, does God want you to run away or walk towards you? I said he wants me to walk towards him. He said, so why are you doing the opposite? You're in your child's life through the phases to build them up. You're in your child's life through the phases. When your child does something wrong, it shows that there's something they don't know. There's something they don't know how to do. And you're the parent to teach and give them information they need to acquire and the skill they need to upgrade to acquire at that time so that they can do better another time. But me, I call flogging the lazy parent strategy. Even my parents, my husband that says that Bible says he should spank, he rarely spanks because I was able to introduce the principle that we're in our children's life to teach them what to do and better another time. We are a part of their journey. Parenting is you're there for the stages where they're dependent so that by the time they leave home, they remember how you did it with them and they can do it for themselves. So when your child has a struggle, let me look at maybe that woman that discovered that her child was watching porn. I actually have a course for parents whose kids are watching porn. I actually have a course for it. What's the course? Teaching you what is the root cause? What are the enablers? What are the triggers? How should you approach your child? Now that course is loaded. However, if you flogged your child, it will satisfy you quickly. You feel like, yes, I've shown her. But porn addiction shows that your child doesn't have certain knowledge and skill. When you flog the child, did the textbook enter the brain? Did the skill come on top of the child? It didn't teach what the child was supposed to know. Now, if I find my child with a minor watching porn, I'll teach them the strategy. I'll tell them, where did you see it first? What did you see first? Where did you see it? And when you saw it, you went back to see it, seeing it. So let's remove everything that reminds you of it and takes you back to it. Then I'll move to the next step. I'll say, in what moments do you find yourself thinking about doing it? So when you're alone, when you're lonely, when mom is not at home, you feel like going to it. All right. Where do you go to see it? Oh, this is the laptop that I use. And so here's the thing. We're only going to use this laptop when mommy is at home. We're only going to use this laptop where someone is beside you. And we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to withdraw your device, not because we want to punish you, but we want you to clear your head. All right. Let's talk about why Satan needs you to be watching this. Because right now he's stealing from the brain cell you have dedicated to productive thinking, schoolwork, honoring God. And he's whetting your appetite for so much. Say now, mommy is teaching you all about purity. If you're watching porn, you can't do purity. Soon enough, you're going to watch a porn where there's self-pleasure. That means this one, you don't need somebody else. You can do it at home. And that's not how God intended for your body to be used. So here's what we're going to do. Every time the thought comes, tell mommy, let's go out and let's take a walk. Let's pray in tongues. So I did it for my minor. Now they're in the university at 18. Porn popped up again. They remember what mommy did with them. They remember what daddy did with them. That is parenting. That's why the girls on my mentoring program, if you follow the lessons we teach, I'm always teaching steps. So I don't want you to have a toxic friend. This is who a toxic friend is. A toxic friend does this and does that and does that. Other talk one are the toxic. Don't work with bad company. Don't work with bad company. Your child does not know what the heck a bad company is. What does it look like? The person is kind to me. The person backs me up. Does the person have the same values as you? Is the person somebody that honors their parents? Does the person honor God? Well, mommy, why is all of that important? Everybody is influenceable. All our friends can influence us, and our friends' values will rub off on us. I'm not in a war zone with my child. I'm not in a war zone with my child. If anything, I'm in an equipping zone for my child. I'm here in this world to equip my child. And this weekend of boot camp, I looked my two daughters in the face and I cried in my heart because I was like, what? You mean we've done this so far? You mean we've done this so far? I mean, you mean conversations work? Conversations work. I mean, one thing I'm going to say is I'm going to apologize because I don't think I have done a session like this in more than a year. I've not done parent session like this in more than a year. Life has been so choking, but recently I started asking myself, you're talking to the girls, the parents. So now we finished boot camp. You need all the replays are on our channel, on our YouTube channel. I started hearing it was like God was saying, when you finish talking to the girls, what about their mothers? What about the parents? What about the parents? So we'll be doing sessions like this, and you just need to follow us, all right? So when it comes to these things, remember that relationship, 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 all right? So let me see. Please talk about how you help your child when she starts having a crush on someone. I want to give you people this gist. Crushes are natural. Crushes must come. But crushes does not need to happen for all children. Some kids don't get into the frenzy, but some do. So what I teach my girls, you know me, I love my own is conversations. So Irene has conversations with kids. My children's friends come to the house for conversations. My daughters taught your girls. I prepared the lessons for the girls to teach. I got girls to teach girls because I knew that online safety, when adults talk about it, but when they talk to each other, they hear it. So we had to use girls this bootcamp. And I like the outcome. We may sustain it, all right? So when my daughters have a crush, the first thing I tell them is that your body has started changing. Your body is changing from a child's body to an adult body. And there are things that an adult body can do that the child's body cannot do. For example, an adult body can breastfeed. An adult body can get pregnant and have a baby. So when the body starts to change to have this preparation for you to, have an adult body, there are changes in your brain. And one of the things that happen with adults is that they fall in love with the opposite sex and they marry. So your brain starts to make connection. Your brain is a bootcamp replay on the website for August subscribers. Okay, so now you want to give us work, Auntie Ronke. We'll upload it. We've not uploaded it yet. We'll upload all of them. Don't worry, we'll upload all of them. All right. We'll put it on the website for you guys. I'll ask the team to do that this week. I'll ask them to do that around Wednesday because it's been a marathon for us. All right. So I tell my children, your brain is making connections. So I used to tell my daughter that it's like this. Crushes are like this. Like when somebody's engine has gone bad and they wake up in the morning and they kick it. It goes kick, 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 kick. It doesn't fire all through. So crushes are like that. Your brain tells you you're falling in love, you're falling in love. Then it ceases. So crushes come. You like him this week. Next week, you hate him. You love him for 1 month. The next week, he's irritating you. I say crushes is your brain rehearsing how to fall in love. And so when you're going through crushes, there are things you don't do. You don't tell the boy that you like them. Because when you tell them, you put yourself in a situation where you have to reciprocate. If you like him, he needs to do something, you need to do something. And that because of how intense the crush emotion is, you can know that something is wrong and you'll still do it. But what usually happens is that the feeling will pass. And when the feeling passes, you feel shame for the actions that you took. So we're going to, for all of you that joined the Zoom meeting, we'll send you replay, we'll email you replay links, but give us till tomorrow so that your girls can watch the bootcamp. No, a 6-year-old cannot have a crush unless they're having extra puberty. Let me tell you something. There's the innocence that comes from when they're 6 to 8. They start having a fondness for somebody, but it's not the same thing as crush because what 6-year-olds feel can last a lifetime. But time. So 6 to 8-year-olds like a boy, they want him to be their friend. They like how he's kind. I'm coming, mama. Is she having other signs of puberty? Yes, that's how they talk. That's how they talk. The children that, oh, so if your child is going through precocious puberty, they can have a crush as when they are that young. And you should see a gynecologist just in case there's something in their diet and there's something in their hair care and all of that. So yes, you should see an OB-GYN, please. So if they're having precocious puberty, they can have a crush. But those 6-year-olds that want to marry, let me tell you what is happening. They're making sense of the world. When your children get to 6, they start to stop telling you daddy's calling you. They say your husband is calling you, your wife is calling you. They are making connections. And when she sat with, when they sit with a boy in school, they start to imagine what it will feel like to be their wife. That's not crush. I remember when I have a daughter that, I don't know if she would like me to say this. My second daughter is going to be 11. She doesn't yet know. She doesn't yet know that she's never had a crush, but she's had people she liked. So every time, so when other people are talking about crushes, she feels like she doesn't have anything to say. So she'll not say, oh, I had a crush on this one, but I don't tell her it's not a crush. So one time I called her and said, come, let me tell you what a crush means. I asked her, when this person, I wanted to call the boy's name, then I figured that the boy may be one of your sons, so let's leave it. I asked her, I said, so when he passes by you in class, do you feel like your heart stops beating? She looked at me like, what kind of weird talk is that? I say, exactly. With crushes, they can't breathe when the person passes them. I say, if you can breathe, it's not a crush. I asked her, I said, can't you see your older sister when she had a crush? She's stupid in those moments. So it's not a crush. However, don't dismiss their feelings so that when it really happens, they can come. So what I did with my girls, I told them that values precede love. Values precede love. That means that if I have a crush on someone, let me use that moment to see if they are worth liking. Remember, this crush will pass, but just gauge them up. Don't dismiss their feelings so that you understand another time they can come. So I would tell my daughter something like, so when you like someone, ask yourself, why do I like them? Crush doesn't like to think. The feeling of crush is stupid. It doesn't want to think. So you as the parent tell the child, tell me what you like about him. That question, hey, it can close the crush quick. I remember the first day I picked my daughter from school and she said, Mommy, there's a boy in my class. We like each other. We think we're going to get married. So we think we're going to get married. And when she said it, I was like, excuse me. I said, okay, tell me about him. She knew our family's values. So she hit us with it. She said, Mommy, he tells the truth. Then she said, Mommy, his parents are pastors too. I'm like, chick, he's talking that one. That doesn't mean jack. Tell me about him. I remember one guy that met me many years ago in Port Harcourt and said he wanted to marry me. And he said he heard that I was born again and that let him tell me he comes from a godly family. His two brothers are reverend fathers and everything. I'm like, what? I'm going to marry you because your brothers are reverend fathers. So when my daughter said his parents are pastors, I'm like, girl, even if he was a pastor himself, I said, tell me what you like about him. She said he's really honest. I said, how do you know? She said one time he was passing by their the shelf where they drop their bags in school, and that the shelf fell. That when the teacher came back to ask what happened, that she paid attention to how he recounted the story, and he said it exactly how it happened. That's because in my home, I've taught them what truth looks like. No iota of exaggeration. So my girls will not say, everybody was crying. I'm like, everybody, you saw everybody. You counted 28 people in that room. Everybody was crying. They know we don't do exaggerations. So my daughter played that card back for me. And so we came home and she told her dad, Daddy, I have a crush. I think we're going to get married. She was what? 8, 9? No, she was 9. She was 9. She wasn't 8. At 8, she was very naive. She was 9. So my husband was eating. I said, all right, tell me about him. Tell me what you like about him. She finished talking. I want you to know that even with asking that question, right? It doesn't mean your daughter will make 100% smart choice. So your presence, the presence of a trusted adult makes it easy for them. So every day she'll come back from school, she'll tell me this happened and that happened and that happened and that happened. And then the crush plateaued. And when it plateaued, we sat down to talk about what happened. Were there things that you did that you regretted? Let's learn from them. Whether this, whether that, whether that. Not that did you bring me shame. We're going to learn from this so that the next time you have a crush, you handle it like a pro. Let me tell you right now, crush talk in my house has died because everybody sees it as normal. It's not an event anymore. In fact, sometimes my daughter would come into the cars while leaving church and say, hey, mommy, I had 2 crushes in church during service. Just that small service time. The crush crushed. They now understood that, oh, my body is making changes and these feelings are not, we don't build anything on them. Let me end by saying this. My foster daughter is 18. And early in the year, I noticed that something had changed with her. Before, no matter how you scold her, correct her, you don't see it on her face. I started seeing it on her face. And so once you start seeing it on her face, the person is feeling, don't talk to me like that. And don't talk to me like that. I'm not talking about being disrespectful. I'm talking about, but I called you, I told you to do this and you didn't do it. I'm talking about, there's someone giving me attention uninterrupted. You shouldn't do that. I started noticing that. And then I started noticing flimsy absences. One time I drove home from work. I said, where is he? Say, oh, she was coming back from school and she's a prefect. That, oh, her school badge fell, so she went back to pick it. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Do you know what we did? Do you know where we've been? I'm like, your school badge fell where? Okay. I waited and talked to her. So I don't know what happened. Then I hit it. I got to know the boy. The boy is in her school. By the way, 2 of them are in my school. And she is an A-star girl. And this boy is struggling like everything else academically. I'm talking about children that when it's time to promote them, they're just standing on the edge of the promotion so you could go. And you know that this boy, he may not be a strong academic, he may have a career in his future and skill and all of that. When I got to know it was this boy, I called her and I didn't ask her why him, because that's the wrongest question you can ask. Are you saying that if it was another boy, it would be better? Or are you saying we're not doing boys at all? So, but the most important thing I wanted to know with her was what happened. What was your vulnerability moment? So she came and told me she let me down with everything I've taught her. She let me down. I said, no, we don't do apologies here. We find out what the root cause is. So she made a statement and said, I won't do it again. I said, no, sweetie, life doesn't work like that. Let's find why you did it so that another time when that thing surfaces, you know how to handle it. I said, so what was it? So in March, one of my daughters had a surgery. And as we were coming back from surgery, this girl opted to go for holiday the next day. Man, I was livid. I said, oh yeah, be going to your mom. she left for holiday. So she's a child that we foster. She stays with us during the school term and goes home during the holiday. So my home is essentially like an accommodation for her so she can go to school. My school is for kids from low income families. So like my house is like a hostel for her. But I thought that she was going to be considerate. So I was really upset with her. In that moment of upset, relationship strained, she needed someone to talk to. She started talking with this person. This person has been asking her out since forever. Meanwhile, she's the bright star of the school. She's the superstar. So everybody wants a piece. And so the person started giving her attention, started sending text messages, and she felt like, since mommy is upset with me, this person is available to me. And I said, so let's talk about it. What should you have done? She should have walked up to mommy and said, mommy, there's tension between us. Let's resolve it. I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry about that. But I didn't end it there. I told her it can happen to adults. I said, let me tell you what happens to an adult. A woman is having a misunderstanding with her husband for something he's not doing. And then suddenly a flimsy neighbor starts to pay attention to her. Hey, madam, how now? How are you doing? And suddenly she compares her husband's low with this person's pretentious gestures. And suddenly that person is a better person. So I used that moment to tell her that when we have issues, resolve it. Stop looking for other people to solve it. Would you have known that that's one of the reasons why kids date? Is a lack of skill. They don't know how to resolve conflict. That's why last month, one of the topics I taught on the 10 over 10 Girls Squad was conflict resolution. Your kids are doing, a child may do something wrong, but not for the reason you think that they are. Without relationships, you wouldn't know the real reason. You know, I said this session was going to be 1 hour. We've done 1 hour, 24 minutes. I think you know the risk you need to talk about. These replays are going to be live. Please help us share these videos with as many friends and colleagues as possible so you can feed on this. However, I have 3 things to tell you that about myself and what I do and how you can take advantage of it. Number 1, I'm the girl mentor for when you want to raise a girl who can think. Yeah, I'm the girl. I'm the coach if you want to raise a girl who can think. So I have the 10 over 10 Girls Squad. For now, the 10 over 10 Girls Squad is just 3,500 naira a month, and your daughters will get a lesson in Bible study, body safety, and leadership and character on a monthly basis on our online app platform, right? In addition to that, I do 2 live sessions with them. We do Bible Live, second Saturday of the month, and we do Leadership Live on the last Saturday of the month. I'm going to put something in the comment section now for you to, if you would like your daughters to get into the 10 over 10 Girls Squad. I will send you a link now that you can fill and learn more about the 10 over 10 Girls Squad. 10 over 10 Girls Squad is going to be 1 year by the last day of August. 31st August is going to be 1 year since we started. So my passion is to raise girls who can teach the way I teach, talk, understand, know stuff the way that I do. Because the goal is for me to multiply the thinking capacity that God has given me into those kids. I know that children will find themselves in so many situations. I want when a 10 over 10 girls, please, how do you mentor children in boarding? When they come home on holiday, they come on the squad, they take those classes, they join the live sessions with all the other girls. And we just taking on from there every holiday. Hey, Madam Irene is doing an amazing job teaching my girls. You see, the testimonials are there, right? So my goal is to take girls on a journey. And in Nkechi, my husband is launching a mentoring circle for boys. And he's launching it in September, but the announcements are going to be out. I'll send a broadcast to my entire network. I've convinced my husband to do something. Let me put my husband's name so that you can Google him and decide whether you want to have a mentor like that. My husband is my mentor. I'm a product of his mentoring. So, and I'm not hyping him. So Google him, Kingsley Bangwell, and see whether you want someone like that to mentor your son. But he's coming up with something, and we're going to put out information on that starting in September. So the second thing I want to talk about is, so when I was preparing for the online safety bootcamp, guess what happened? I discovered that I needed to put girls in a situation where they will see different situations they'll find themselves in and they'll know what to do. One of my daughters was reading one of the scenarios one day, and she said, Mommy, I would never have thought about this. Let me give you a typical example. You know, something we prepare girls for is that there are wicked, mean people online. You can create a content and put online, well-intended, and somebody will say something that makes you go and commit suicide. I heard about a girl who put up a selfie on Twitter many years ago, and somebody came in the comment and told her that she was so ugly and she needed to take her life. Oh, she did. She did. Somebody who didn't know that you carried her for 9 months convinced her online to take her own life. And so I had to teach girls how to process negativity on social media. They did that on the day two. The 12 to 14 and 15 to 17-year-olds. Somebody left a comment for you. What do you do? Should you reply in the comment? Should you report the handle? What should you do? Should you go fire for fire? And we looked at scenarios like that. But when I was done, I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't satisfied because in this camp, we were only able to do 4 scenarios per age group. Okay, the younger ones did more, but the senior ones that their own is more complicated. They couldn't do more than 2 scenarios per day. And we did scenarios for only 2 days. So I took the time to write this online safety book along with my first daughter. And I worked with her so that she could tell me the nuance, the mindset, the perception that makes them want to do a certain thing. For example, it took working with my daughter to know that sometimes in trying to fight for friends online, some girls expose themselves to risk. Just by telling me how I want to stand up for my friend. So I wrote this set of online safety books. One is for 3 to 8-year-olds, one is for 9 to 14-year-olds, and the other is for 15 to 17-year-olds. These books right now, they're going for 2,500 naira now because it's pre-order, but we're releasing them as ebook. Downloadable ebook. You download it, you print it, you staple it, you give them to read it at home. That's so you're buying it from a soft copy and then you print it. So for the 3 to 8-year-olds, they have about 20 scenarios, 20 different situations they'll be in and what they should do. So this is what I want you to remember about me. Irene wants girls to know what to do in different situations, whether it's what I'm doing on squad, whether it's boot camp, whatever I do, I want girls to know what to do. So that online safety resource is going to be coming out on pre-order September 1st. So there's a broadcast that I put on my, all right, I think if you send the word safety as a WhatsApp message to the number. I think so. Yeah, that's it. Send the word safety as a WhatsApp message to WhatsApp when you send the word safety to that number, it will give you the broadcast on how to pay, the form to fill afterwards. So we have this book for Mama, I need to snap this comment that you just put because this is a beautiful testimonial. Because sometimes when you people are complaining that you didn't see your email, I used to start to feel whether I'm missing something. But as long as the content is, you say the content is impactful, I'm satisfied. But I love this. I want to thank you for that feedback. And it's going to get better. Squad 2025, we've already started designing what it's going to look like. It's going to be explosive. We're taking to the next level. The talent communities we've created in the squad, we're going to hone great leaders, great girls that are, so we are going to bring positive online content into the community so the girls can challenge themselves. Say the girls that like to knit, they'll put videos there, they will learn it, they'll be showing each other the progress they're making, and they'll become more productive. So we have the online safety book there, online safety. So I've put it in the comments how you can get information about it on WhatsApp. Please look at the chat. I said, just send the word safety to our business line. The final thing I want to talk about today before I go is, I want girls to know what to do. So here's what happened. I started thinking about back to school for girls. And the first thing that came to my mind was that there were certain groups of girls we needed to start providing proactive support to. Our daughters going into secondary school for the first time in JSS 1. We need to support them. This particular thing I want to talk about is because I run a school and I see the gaps, all right? Number one, I want, so first, we're doing a series. It's called Back to School Masterclass, September 3rd and 4th, but we're going to have 4 classes. One class is for children coming into JSS 1 for the first time, or children going to a new school for the first time. How do they navigate the changing environment? How do they stay on course on their academic goals? Remember, my principle is they will know what to do. The second group of girls are girls coming into exam classes, JSS 3 and SS 3. It was actually from them this conversation first started. As a school leader, first term is hard for me for children coming into SS 1. They want to do science, they want to do this, and then their better result says they cannot. And I find that there's a coaching and support and knowledge. For me, is something they don't know, there's a skill they don't have. So we want to help them, all right? And so the second class is for girls coming to GS3 and SS3. The third class is for girls going into university in September. Whether they're going to university abroad or essentially they're going to be living alone. I'm looking for the girls that are going to start living alone in September, because what they didn't know before they left home, we want to say, come, let's talk. Let's talk about school goals. Let's talk about dating. Let's talk about friends. You see the framework: school goals, dating, friends. I have an amazing coach coming to talk to those that are going international, that are going abroad for school, to say, look, here are things you need to know. So we have, that's the third. And I think the fourth master class is, I need to remember, Jerry. So, so if you like if your daughter is going to GSS1, GSS3, new school, SS3, going to secondary school, whatever class it is, all you need to do is, my daughter is entering GSS1 by September, yes. So all you need to do is search for send the word master class to our WhatsApp number. It will give you the details. So if you're on the 10/10 girl squad, you know, the ticket for each of the classes is 5,000 naira. If you're on the squad, to attend each class is 5,000 naira. If you're not on the squad, to attend each class is 10,000 naira. If you like, join the squad for September so that you can get a discount. It still works. It's all valid. So please note the numbers, the number that is on the screen, copy it and paste somewhere. Send it via WhatsApp. Some people say, this number, I'm not saying it on WhatsApp. It can happen. Copy the number, paste it on the body of your WhatsApp chat. Then click on it. It will open the chat. So you send the word masterclass. When you send the word safety, it will give you the guide for online safety. So it's time for me to answer questions that were pasted earlier. One woman asked, how do we have some of these conversations formally or in an offhand manner, informally? What do you do when you suddenly find a child is watching pornography? I have already told you that what to do. I give you an example. You can also take our course. It's on our online website. We have a website that has all kinds of resources for parents. So you see a course that is titled Full Recovery Masterclass, helping girls who have been exposed to any kind of sexual misbehavior to make a recovery. So I'm typing the link to the store now. All right. So meanwhile, parents, if you're coming to, we have been with you since 2022 first, when we bought the affirmation booklets. Yeah. We bought and we're on the 10/10 girls squad. Thank you. My girls giving me joy with all your teachings. I'm very passionate about these girls. And if you didn't know, I was raised by a single mom. And that my single mother, she has evidence that God can be trusted, because I think that God took over raising me. How do you guide my daughter to join a talent community to develop her talent? So I'm going to come to that. So my mom is a single mom. She had me as a teenager. And so my mother's life was redirected because she had me. And so you know how that thing the Bible says in Genesis, where God told the serpent that her seed will bruise your heel. So it's like the work that I do comes to me as saying there was knowledge my mom needed to have. There was skills my mother needed to have. There was parenting support my mom needed to have. She didn't have it. And so it changed the course of her life. I'm out here making sure that as many girls as possible get the knowledge, the skills, and the support that they need to make important decisions at different points of their lives. So, I want you to say, how can I guide my daughter to join a talent community to develop her talent? So on the 10/10 Girls Squad, it's an app. Our 10/10 Girls Squad right now is a website, but by January 2025, it's going to be a full mobile app on your phone or on your daughter's phone. Inside that place, there are talent communities for girls who love public speaking, girls who draw, girls who do. How do girls in boarding schools participate in your boot camp? You know, the boot camp holds only during the holiday, so they can do that. So it's like if your daughter is on the 10/10 Girls Squad, she will join a talent community. And talent community activities they're free. They are just there, they're just doing it, and so on and so forth. So, so talent communities, once a child is on the squad, she can be a part of the talent community chat. But talent community workshops will be exclusive to kids who pay to be on the platform. My daughter is 6 and is an only child. I guess because she doesn't have siblings yet, she's overly friendly with other kids and craves attention from people a lot. This worries me as I'm scared of her getting influenced due to peer pressure. What can I do to guide her? Remember what I said. When children have misbehavior, There's a knowledge they don't have. There's a skill they don't have. And there's support they need. So first and foremost, I think that you're raising a sanguine. You're raising an extrovert. My second daughter is an extrovert. She's designed like that for a reason. And if she's designed like that for a reason, our responsibility is to say, what does she need to know? So for instance, I teach my daughters high five, no hugs. Number two, I teach my daughters about danger in public places. My second daughter used to run in the church foyer and hug strangers, hold them in the leg as if she knows them from somewhere. I started talking to her about high five. Then high fives. And then as she started growing, I started telling her, yeah, so she's a social butterfly. You're raising a social butterfly. Yeah, you're raising a social butterfly. So give her the teach her body boundaries and tell her you love her, but you don't want people to take her for granted. But don't overdo it because you don't want to break something God is doing. That your daughter will open doors for you. One of my friends, Dr. Vivian Okoye, tells me that my second daughter is me with the right parenting environment, meaning that she believes that I was designed to be a social butterfly, but there wasn't support. And so eventually, when it broke me into low self-esteem. And I am one girl that knows that God builds you up. And so when I'm talking to people about self-esteem, I'm not talking book knowledge. I'm talking about experiential knowledge, getting to be the person that I am. So I don't want you to break your social butterfly. I'm raising one. So teach them about body boundaries. But the thing about them is they are also very emotional people. They're emotional people. They want to make people happy and they can become people pleasers. So that's the skill you need to focus on. Care about people, maintain your boundaries, don't violate your conscience to make people happy. So that's a skill you need to give to her. How to handle a 7-year-old that is so emotional, cries at little things. So you have an overly sensitive one. And I'm not going to answer that question because my head is already banging. I'm tired for today. Your 7-year-old has a lot of things to learn, simple things, and then growing from there. For instance, is she crying because she doesn't have the words? Is she crying because she doesn't think that you will listen to her? So you're going to have to earn her trust to say, use your words, say your words, mom is going to listen to you. Let me end by saying this. I think I really need to say this. One of the most important things you can do for your girls is to get them to come to a place where they can share how they feel. Not just how they feel, they can tell you the concerns they have that is feeding their feelings. Yesterday, I was about going to the office to do the boot camp, and I said something in the house that my daughter's mood changed. I said something to my first daughter. I told her, my church is opening our boot camp. At my church camp for 6 days, I'm going to be in church doing faith camp in Abuja here, Summit Bible Church. So if you'd like to learn more about that one, send Spark today. Let me put that one. I just remember that we have a camp starting tomorrow. So I had mentioned to one of my daughters that that one person will be coming to the camp while the other person will be going to school for lesson. Her attitude changed. When I was growing up, your parents talk to you, your attitude changed, they will scold you. So I turned around and said, your mood has changed. Everybody said, I said, your mood has changed. So in my house, we track mood though. Once somebody's mood has changed, we want to know what entered your head. Let us organize it. And so I asked her, okay, what happened? She said, nothing. I said, I am your mother. I'm at peace with your thoughts. So I want to hear it. She said, because I said only her sister was going to go. I said, so what do? You negotiate. You tell me, Mom, I want to come. Can I resume my extension class upper week instead of this week? Negotiate. We track mood, oh, my sister. Once somebody's face changes, we say, yeah, what happened? What did you just hear? We dey track, my sister, because Satan used my mood to manage and control my life for decades. The reason why I did neuro-linguistic programming is because I wanted to know what the heck was going on with my emotions. So if I'm sitting down and suddenly I feel upset, I pause, I say, what happened? What did I see? What did I expose myself to? It's self-awareness. And so I'm teaching my daughters that. So once somebody's mood changes, they know something is off. They're thinking, worrying, concerned about something, and we need to address it so that it doesn't fester. So I told her, come, let's talk. So she talked about it, that me saying that she shouldn't go to camp affected her. I didn't disregard it. I said, what would you prefer? She said, I really want to be in church camp. I said, so what should you do when you hear something that upsets you? You present what you prefer. We negotiate, we talk about it. Even if I say no, you at least know that someone listened to you. You have to feel listened to. All your children must believe that you will listen to them. And listening to them doesn't mean you do what they want, but you want them to listen. There's a mama that just sent me a message that how do we build self-esteem? So on my YouTube channel, I've done something on that, a short video, the 3 elements of self-esteem. Go and just watch it. You can type on YouTube, Irene Bangwell, on building a child's self-esteem. So someone sent a message, do you have a training for special needs for girls? They need this too. You know something? This time last year in our boot camp, I even got a woman in Ethiopia that was doing special needs to come and do this for girls. So here's the thing, I don't have any special training in special needs. I don't have a training, but I was wondering if I could find people who have the training and I can give them a body safety framework to say, if you wanted to take this and communicate it with children living with special needs, what would you do? I mean, they're abusing girls with special needs, so it's very important, but I do need support to be able to do this. So parents, as you can see, we done the entire 2 hours. So I'm so glad you came out. I'm so glad, especially because it's last night I realized that we had not released the links for this meeting, and then we put it out this morning, and I have this number of people in the hall having a conversation with me. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for trusting me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know how to say thank you. Thank you for trusting me. Sunday nights are important for everyone. I want to thank you. Thank you for coming out. And please, anything you heard here that was worth it for you, put it out on your WhatsApp. Let it bless somebody else. I'm going to share the replay links in a moment. Share it with people to go and watch, because the world is better when all our girls are equipped. I want to thank you for being out here. I want to thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. I see my half sister, Vivian. Thank you so much. Vivian, you know you don't want to tell the world that me and you are biological sisters, right? The only sister I have in the world. I don't know if you've ever thought about that. So thank you, Vivian. For real, oh, for real. That's my half sister. Her dad married my mom. So we go way back. It's just that we're living in different cities and we need to do better. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for being here. I'm going to chat to you this night. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I even had to hold my prayer for 7 p.m. Thank you so much. Oh, Mama, thank you so much. God bless you. Love you, Vivi. Have a wonderful, 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 wonderful night. I bless your week. I pray that everything you pray for comes to pass. Your children are protected. We will not. Families are protected. God's hedge of protection surrounds them. Your children are growing into mighty men and women, and they will live the fullness of what God designed them to be. Nothing missing, nothing broken. We will not mourn. And for children living with any medical condition that needs a miracle, we ask for the divine hand of God to touch the children and heal them. We pray children will start to have encounters with God in ways that they could never imagine possible. I decree that this holiday is safe. And as we start planning resumption, all needs are met. Provision comes every step of the way. In Jesus' name, amen. Have a beautiful week. God bless you. I think I should give parents permission to unmute how we do the Raising Girls way so that we can hear parents' voices saying, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Princess Irene. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.